What is shagging? Right on time. Told you about an hour and a half after the game. I actually did not stop. I was going to stop by Cellar Maker and grab some beer, but I already had some. I got my figured this was appropriate. Saturday of Thunder from Cellar Maker, or from a Fieldwork. I got that from Fieldwork about 2 weeks ago. So I still have a couple in reserves. I just thought I'd stop by Cellar Maker. That's the one problem with the craft beer places. They don't stay open late on Saturday. Like 9 o'clock, they're done. Like, we're done. Thanks. We want you to come here and enjoy our beer. We don't want you to come here and get drunk. I think that's a good policy, actually. So I was thinking about going by there and getting grabbing a pizza, but I didn't stop and I didn't get anything because they weren't open. So I came home and had a leftover hot dog. How's that for 5-star cuisine? It's actually pretty good, though. Not sure exactly where they got it from. The fam had some hot dogs today. They ordered I don't know if they went to Pup and Taco, which I don't think exists anymore. I don't even know if you guys even remember Pup and Taco. It used to be a restaurant down in Southern California. You get hot dogs and tacos, hence Pup and Taco. So I don't know if it was good or not. You're a kid. What do you care? A hot dog and a taco all taste the same when you're a kid. You don't have any taste buds when you're a teenager. So Warriors lose 102-97. Look, I thought overarching, they played well. I thought the Warriors played hard. They got after it on defense, forced the Wolves to really work to get those 102 points. Warriors just don't have enough firepower. The spacing isn't where it usually is. I think tonight, let me check the final box. I think they had 35 field goals and only 21 assists, and that's just not who the Warriors. That's not who the Warriors are. So let me see. I got there's my first quarter box, my second quarter box, and my third quarter box, my halftime box. I'll get to that in a minute because Anthony Edwards was a monster in the second half. But overall, they shot 43%. Wolves shot 44%. Wolves 36 for 82, Warriors 35 for 81. So they didn't get out field goal attempted, which they did in the first quarter. 13 for 34 from 3 for the Wolves, 10 for 23 for the Warriors. So they shot a better percentage from 3. They just didn't have the volume that they normally have. Duh, no Steph. And it's not just Steph shooting threes. It's a spacing that he creates for everybody else that they just didn't have tonight. They didn't have the spacing that you normally have. Like, Jimmy can create, but Jimmy's going to create at a more methodical pace. He's not a guy that's going to really stretch the defense out. But, Jimmy was really good tonight. Didn't shoot great, 12 for 26, but got to the free throw line 9 times, made 7, had 7 rebounds, 7 assists. So, he played his ass off. I thought everybody kind of played their ass off. Draymond's foul trouble was an issue, and we'll get to that. But some of the turnovers he had early in the game certainly didn't help. But Jamsky's completely lost his confidence shooting. Now, he does rebound. He does distribute. So, Podziemski does other things out there than just shoot. And he had 8 rebounds, only had 2 assists, but he had the 1 steal and only 1 turnover. So it's not like he's out there doing nothing. It just he can't get the ball to drop right now. He's just been scuffling, shooting the ball. And, with Steph out, again, it makes it harder for everybody that's on the court. But, Randall was great and Edwards was great. That being said, Randall took 23 shots to get his 24 points. And Edwards, who had 36, had 28 shots to get those. So it's not terrible. Wasn't like they were dicing you up efficiency-wise. You got a couple plays here, a couple plays there. You find a way to win that game. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy, but maybe the Wolves' best game is coming. But I don't think they've looked like a team that you're afraid of, even without Steph. Like, you don't feel like You can't go in there even to their place and win. Next game will be huge. You got game 4 at home. You're down 2-1. You don't want to go down 3-1. Then you got to win 3 in a row, and 2 of them are in Minnesota. But there wasn't anything about it. Wasn't like game 2 where they just, they got blown out from the beginning, 13-0, cut it to 7, and then got blown out again. It wasn't that. It felt different than that. And it should feel different. You're at home. And Jimmy Butler's been there, done that. He's been to 2 finals. He's led 2 Heat teams to the finals. So he's very capable of doing that. It's just the firepower, right? Naz Reid can stretch the court for you. McDaniels, who hit a huge corner 3, and Reid hit a huge corner 3 in the fourth quarter too. Those are massive shots, so they can stretch the court for you. Randall can shoot the 3. He's not great, but he can shoot it. Edwards can shoot the 3. DiVincenzo hasn't, but he can shoot the 3. I think at one point, if I'm not mistaken, they were 13 for 34 from 3. And I want to say they were 21 for 51 aside from the first half in the first game. So what would that be? 21 for 51, 34, 4, 95. So, they're shooting 36, 37% over the better part of 3 games. I mean, really what it comes down to is 10 quarters of basketball that they're shooting closer to 40% than not. And that 0 for 15 in the first half of the first game, really, their number is going to look a lot different because they were just god-awful in the first half. They couldn't hit a 3 to save their lives in the first half of game 1. But after that, that's what they do. They're top 5 in the league in 3-point field goal percentage. So they're going to hit some of those shots, and they can stretch the court a little bit more, which gives Anthony Edwards a little more room to work. It gives Julius Randle a little more room to work. And Randall was really good. He had 12 assists tonight. I think he's had 23 over the last 2 games. I mean, it's not really his game. Not a huge assist guy, but he has been over the last couple games that are triple-double tonight. So he was really good. I mean, their 2 best players in the fourth quarter were better than the Warriors' best 2 players. Third quarter was fantastic for the Warriors. The only quarter in the game where they got over 30, 31, I believe. And Kuminga had it going a little bit. Buddy Hield hit his 3s. He got one right off the rip to start the third quarter. Within the first minute, he had a 3. And then Jimmy Butler did what Jimmy Butler does, scoring in the paint, getting to the free throw line. But they had 3 guys that were viable options that were scoring. But other than that, it was a slog. They had 24 in the fourth quarter. That was the highest scoring quarter other than the 31. And tallied 21 in the first and second quarter. So, I mean, you knew this is what it was. And this is the type of game they're going to have to win. 90s, low hundreds. They can't score enough to compete in a game that's in the 110s, 115s. They don't have that type of artillery. They just don't. Especially without Steph. I mean, obviously Steph's a guy that can get you, he gets hot, he gets you 50. But it's nothing for Steph to get you 30. So it's tough, but I do think they can win. I do think there's a path there for them to win, but it's going to be with defense. It's going to be kind of an ugly, grinded, slugfest type game, and that's what it was for the most part today. What was that? Being Marcus Thompson, Butler, Kuminga, 63 points, blah, 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 rest of Warriors. Yeah. I mean, they just, I would even throw Buddy in there too with Butler and Kuminga because he didn't shoot a lot of he didn't get a lot of shots up, but he made them. Like he was efficient in his shots. Let's see what Buddy Hield was. 5 for 11, but he had 14 points on those 11 shots, 4 for 8 from 3. So it's just easier to guard Buddy. Because Buddy's more of a catch and shoot guy. He had that one move, that little crossover and pull up and hit that. But mostly he's got to have somebody create shots for him. And I don't need to go over all the reasons why Steph is Steph and why he's one of the great players in the game and what he means to the war. We all know this. Everybody knew this was going to be tough, right? You take any team's best player, take Anthony Edwards off the T-Wolves, take Shai Gilgeous-Alexander off the Thunder, take Jokic off the Nuggets. I mean, Brunson off the Knicks, Halliburton off the Pacers. It goes on and on and on. There's some teams that can handle it a little bit better than others. A team like Boston, you lose Tatum or Brown, you still have guys. If Porzingis is healthy, you still have guys that can go in there and play and get it done. You lose Donovan Mitchell, that's tough if you lose him. But you do have Garland, you do have Mobley, you do have Allen. You have guys that could play. And the Warriors have guys, when your whole offense is built around somebody and that person isn't there, but it is. You struggle to get 100. You struggle to get 100. I mean, how many times, and this is even with Steph, since the playoffs started, how many times have the Warriors scored over 100? What do they play? 10 games? I'm going to guess 3, maybe 4. Let's see. The Wolves, they don't have 100 against the Wolves. 103 against the Rockets. 116 and a loss against the Rockets. That's twice. 109 and a win against the Rockets. It's 3 times. And then 104. It's 5 times. So 5 out of 10. So half the times they've gotten over 100. And one of them was in a blowout loss, 131-116. So just the type of team they are right now. They went from a kind of a high-flying team, and they were never really turbo, even when they had the really good teams, the dominant teams. They weren't super fast. They played fast, but then they could just kill you with the half-court offense too. Now we've gotten to the point where even with Steph, they're more of a possession-by-possession team. They're not a super fast-breaking team anymore. So with Steph out, it's going to be even more so. It's going to be exacerbated more. And so, anyway, Anthony Edwards, Anthony Edwards is tough to stop, period. Julius Randle's the guy I think, you can stop at least a little bit. You can't let him go left. My goodness. At least 5-6 times a day, he just caught the ball, went straight left. You cannot let him go left. And you know what's going to happen. You force him right, and then he comes back to the left. So you know what's going to happen. You should be able to stop the first move. Not to say you're going to stop everything, but you can't let him get to his left hand early. Then it's game over. Then he's really good because he's big, he's physical, can finish at the rim. He's got that little left-handed layup from like 5-6 feet. So you got to keep him from going. You got to keep him from going left immediately. You can't let him catch and go left. You just can't let him do that. Anything but that. As far as the officials tonight, I thought the officials are fine. I just don't know. Like, I just wish people would explain. I wish I had an official that would explain stuff to me. Like, what is marginal contact? What is the gather? What is legal guarding position? And why can guys use their off arm to pop you in the chest? I give you 2 instances, one on each team. The one where they challenged the foul on Draymond, the block. I'm not sure he was in legal guarding position. I don't know for a fact he wasn't. I don't know. I don't know what it is anymore. But I do know Julius Randle took his left arm and ran it into Draymond. And that's what caused Draymond to fall back. So to me, you should not be able to use your off arm and extend it and hit somebody. Period. And then Jimmy Butler one time drove down the middle and it basically with his shoulder, he didn't extend it, but with his shoulder kind of like wham. I mean, he knocked Gobert out of bounds. He just knocked him out of bounds. I think got an N1 out of that one too. I don't know when it became okay with your off shoulder, off forearm, just to smash guys in the chest, and that was considered a legal offensive move. Like, as a defender, I'm not supposed to dislodge the offensive player. As an offensive player, you shouldn't be able to dislodge the defensive player. You just shouldn't. If they get in good guarding position and they wall you up, then that should be fine. But they let these guys get away with murder with their off arm. So I have no idea when that became the case. And so it's been the last few years now that I've seen that more and more and more. And the more you see it, the more you're gonna see it, because players realize, well, hell, if I'm driving to the hole and a guy's sliding his feet and staying in front of me, all I got to do is fucking just whap and just smack him. And look, if I'm sliding, there's no way I can stay in front of you if you're going to take your forearm and stick it into my chest and use it like a battering ram. I'm moving already. I'm sliding. I'm not in a stable position, right? I'm not grounded in any way, any meaningful way. And I get hit and I just keep moving. Boom. And then they just Euro step right through you. Bucket, sometimes and one. So I don't get where there's too much gray area there. And I just wish I understood kind of what is it? What's incidental contact? What do you just kind of make it up incidental contact as we're going here? Like, sometimes it's incidental contact, sometimes it's not incidental contact, sometimes it's the gather, sometimes it's not the gather. Can't we just go back to the way it used to be? Like, if you were in the shooting motion, you got fouled, then you get to go to the free throw line. Not if I'm in the gather. I could gather, go through, and then pass it. But I just said they just considered that. I guess they just said, well, what the hell? Gather will give it to them. We're good to go. I don't know. But again, that gets a little murky too, because was it the gather? Was it not the guy? I don't know. I've never had so much trouble trying to figure out what an and one is than I have this year. I've guessed so many times. I used to think I knew what an and one was, but fucking who knows? I don't know what an and one is anymore. All right, we'll take some comments. It's Saturday night. I'm not going to stay up too late. I'm not going to keep you guys too late. I mean, I would say you guys got things to do, but apparently you don't. So we'll just sit here and drink beer together and talk Warriors. And oh, by the way, the Celtics did what I thought the Celtics would do. Has a team ever been up 2-1 in a series and been down 20 points in every game? Every game the Knicks have been down 20 and they're up 2-1. That series. Try to figure out that series. They don't. Andis said he doesn't feel like the Wolves played well. The role players for the Wolves were not good at all. Yeah, they don't have a lot of them. They got 3 of them. I mean, they got a short bench. That thing is tiny. Like 8 guys max. See ya. DiVincenzo hasn't played great for him. Naz Reid was okay tonight. He was all right. He seemed like he was in foul trouble, and so I don't. He had a few threes though. Again, that one in the corner in the fourth, that one hurt. That was a rough one. Naz Reid played 24, had 9, 3, and 2. He was okay though. He was plus 10. Alexander Walker was awful. I mean, he was just brutal today. Now this is something I'm not sure I've ever seen before in 3 games, let alone 3 playoff games. Point total 0, 20, 0. We're talking about bizarre. 0 for 3 in game 1, 7 for 13 in game 2, 0 for 4 in game 3. I don't know. Hello? I feel like somebody's trying to sneak in here. Hold on a second. Oh, I know who it is. I know what you guys are wondering. Where are the animals clawing at the door? Come on. I actually thought it was like somebody was like at the doorknob. turning the doorknob on me, but then I looked and there was a little paw underneath the door. Ooh. Huh. What are you doing? Come here. If you're going to come in here, you can say hi to everybody, huh? Yeah, I know. You going to jump over to the table now? She wasn't all that thrilled with the game either. Now I got to protect the keyboard because I know what you're going to do. And if you can hear, Pip has the loudest purr. It sounds like you're starting a lawnmower. Like it is. The other one, Kit, not so much, but this one, man, she's got a motor, absolute motor on her. And so, anyway, Pip wanted to be let in. She likes no, the bunny's not coming down. It's too late for the bunny. 10:44. Bunny is up. Bunny in the cage, and Bunny got to go out today in the backyard. I always let the bunny out around noon. Comes back in around 7. But no, it's too late for me to be chasing the bunny around. And so, and Lou's sleeping, and so we're gonna leave Lou alone. We're gonna leave Lou alone. Yeah. John says, glad it wasn't the Zodiac, who, by the way, we didn't even get into this. Zodiac actually won the Serial Killer Invitational. So congratulations. Let's give it up to the Zodiac, who, as far as we know, could still be out there. But that was one of the bigger upsets. No upset will compare to that. And again, I think if that had taken place any place other than the Bay Area, Zodiac has no chance to win that. But because it's the Bay Area, and you guys love your hometown guys, you decided to boost up the Zodiac, and Zodiac took down Dahmer and took down Gacy and I think Bundy. I mean, that was quite a run. It was quite a run. So well done to the Zodiac for the winner, for being the winner of the first and only, I might add, Serial Killer Invitational. So you got 1 day rest, Monday game, and again, I feel like they could. I feel actually optimistic about that game. Again, it's going to have to be low scoring. The offense, I'm not optimistic about the offense, but I am optimistic about them being able to, hold the T-Wolves in check. And I don't know. There's just something about the Wolves, and I know they haven't played their best ball, but there's something about the Wolves where I feel like, if the Warriors get them in a close game, that they could, cause them to miss a few shots, and they get a look. No, you don't be doing that. See, there she goes. She's trying to get over to the other side. What did I make of Dre's game tonight? Not great tonight. The 5 turnovers weren't great, and just wasn't one of his better efforts, but it happens. I'm sure he'd tell you he didn't get a great whistle, and that's a possibility. I think there were some that could have gone either way for him tonight, and they didn't go his way. I thought the 6th foul was a tough one, where he met McDaniels up by the rim. Now, I think if you challenge that, you probably lose it because his hand was on McDaniels' hip. I don't think he pushed him much. And there's your incidental contact. I think just because you have your hand on somebody's hip doesn't mean you're pushing him. It could just mean hands on the hip. But if you have your hand on the hip, that's an easy out for the officials to say, he got him down here. And that's, I see it all the time. When people watch a game, whether live or on TV, they're like, oh, that wasn't a foul. That wasn't a foul. And when you see a foul like that, always look for the off hand. Always look for the off hand that's low. Don't look for the hand that's up here, because we could all see that. And you could see it if you get them on the wrist, you get them on the elbow, stuff like that. But a lot of times while you're looking at the ball and the hand and saying, oh, it's all ball, it's all ball, it's all ball, look at the bottom hand. because a lot of times the bottom hand's pushing. And trust me on this, it's tough to finish a shot when you're getting pushed midair. You're getting pushed midair. I won't say it's impossible to finish a shot, but it becomes so tough because you're used to going up, down, and you go up, and then you start sliding a little bit. It's not a good feeling. It's a little unsettling because you're up in the air. You don't know where you're going to land now. No, get out of here. Don't be leave. Stop. Come here. Why do you always go over there? I know you do that on purpose. She's such a menace. You are an absolute menace, is what you are. Come here. Why don't you just sit right here? Why don't you just sit here? No, there you go. This is why she wasn't let in the first place, because she's all happy now and she's purring. And I'll see if I can. I'm going to see if I can get you. See if you can hear her purring. Of course, she's rubbing on it. She's like, "Oh yeah, I get that in my yeah, that's good on the oh, right there, we're good." That's Pip. For those that want to know, the black one is Kit. Pip and Kit. Why? Don't know. They're sisters actually, and we got them from Berkeley Humane when we were at the Oktoberfest. We used to do the Oktoberfest. The owner of Fieldwork, Barry Braden, and I used to do that over at Fieldwork. And he used to bring the mobile unit, the Berkeley Humane mobile unit over there. And one of the years, the sisters were in the mobile unit. And Lori and Haley wanted to get the cats. Oh, they're sisters. Let's get them. And I said, we have 2 dogs, right? You thought this one through? They're like, oh, they'll be fine. I'm like, all right. I'm good with cats. I love cats. And it was fine. I just didn't know how the dogs would take it. And the dogs, dogs are fine. Like Lou loves Kit, doesn't care for Pip. I mean, they don't bother each other. And then Maybelle didn't care one way or the other. It was like, whatever, I don't care. So one big happy police squad. We got all the black and whites except for Kit is just black. And so anyway, that's the story of the animals. And then we got the brown and white one, Bunny, as you've seen. But you'll see Bunny next Friday when we're out in the backyard, because anytime we do a show out in the backyard, Bunny needs to know what's going on. And so anyway, I'm gonna I told you guys Marcus Thompson will be on next Friday. So the other games, Boston, look, when Boston hits 23s, forget it. Right? When Boston shoots 23, they make 23s, it's over. They're too good everywhere else. You're not beating them when they make 23s. And that's what happened. And they came out to make a point tonight, and they did. They went up 20 again, which they've done for 3 straight games. And this time they just closed it out. Although I was wondering why Thibodeau kept his starters in down 23 with 3 minutes to go. He took them out with right at 3 minutes. I guess that's just Thibodeau. I guess it's Thibodeau. I don't know. Maybe it's in his contract that every starter has to play 38 minutes. I'm like, can you get him out 2 minutes earlier? You're not coming back in this game. I know Boston's choked 20-point leads away, but that was early in the third quarter they did that, not with 4 or 5 minutes left. And so I still half expect Boston. Well, no, not half expect. I do expect Boston to win that series. They've been better on the road anyway. And New York's been better on the road in the playoffs too. So Cleveland came back, smashed Indiana. That one will be an interesting one. I still think the Pacers have a shot at that one. They took the first 2 Cleveland and and then finally Cleveland's healthy. They got everybody. They got Garland back and everybody's back. And then they just smashed them. And so was that Marcus? Yeah, we're doing. I don't know if we're gonna do the Girl Friday. I don't know what we're gonna do. That's a good idea though. I don't know if I could fire up the grill though while I'm doing the show. And bring Marcus over by the grill, do the interview by the grill. That's a lot of moving parts. That sounds like something that sounds good in theory. Probably not going to happen though. I wouldn't think. And then how about the Joker? Awful game for Joker. Like as bad as Joker could play shooting the ball, that's when you got to get if you're the Thunder, don't you? Like if Joker's going to play that poorly or shoot the ball that poorly, that's when you got to figure out a way to win. Because he ain't doing that again. That guy ain't doing that again. But Aaron Gordon's a much better player than he used to be. He just is. He shoots the ball better. He passes the ball better. He's always been a rugged defender and a good rebounder. But he's one of those guys who's like 8 years into his career, and this is probably the best he's ever been. This is like the best version of Aaron Gordon. And then Jamal Murray was solid, and they just got again. They when Porter's shooting like that too, and Porter was just bottoming all kinds of shots last night. So, Shea wasn't very good last night, or wasn't very efficient. Jay Williams was awesome offensively, but what the hell were they running at the end of the game? Like, I have no idea what they were running at the end of the game. And I'm a big fan of Dagno, but I'm watching that game last night thinking, what are the Thunder doing? I mean, this is like the best team in basketball, and I have no idea what they're doing with their offense at the end of the game. So that was a little disappointing to watch them do that. And then, overtime, they just got blitzed. Overtime's 5-minute sprint. Team gets hot for 4 possessions, and you're toast. And that's what happened. Denver was hot for 4 possessions, and OKC wasn't. And then that was the end of that game. Still kind of think OKC is going to win that, but I don't know anymore. Now I'm starting to think, man, you don't win the next one, you're down 3-1. Whew. So it's just been crazy playoffs so far. Denver's up 2-1. I expected the Thunder to win that one, maybe in 5. Not going to happen. Boston's down 2-1. I expected them to win maybe in 5. That's not going to happen. Cleveland, same thing, not going to happen. And then this one, again, it's so hard to judge because Steph's out. But I would have loved the Warriors' chances in this one had Steph been healthy. But it doesn't matter. I can say that all I want. Who cares? He's not. So, but I still think they can find a way possibly. They're going to have to be really efficient on offense. But so far, it's been a pretty fun playoffs. I got to admit, it's going to be a pretty fun playoffs. I've enjoyed it. And then I've watched a little bit of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Watched a little bit of the Leafs and the Panthers. And I saw. I didn't get a chance to see it. I recorded it. I don't know that it recorded or not, but I was gonna watch the Oilers and the Knights, and I saw the Knights. I got to go watch that goal though. Heard the Knights score with less than a second left. That's a bad beat. That's a rough one. You get beat with less than a second left. That was like the dude from what was his name from Winnipeg that tied that game up. What was the game 7 with less than a second left, and then they ended up winning in double overtime against the Blues. That was a hell of a game. I watched that whole game. That was a fun game to watch. So, but I might go watch a little of the Knights game. But I just haven't watched as much of the hockey as I generally enjoy watching. A show for you to watch if you guys like war stuff, and I've told you about the Turning Point, the Cold War Turning Point, awesome show on Netflix. I just got through watching the Vietnam one, Turning Point, the Vietnam War. A lot of good stuff in there too. Well, not good stuff that way. It's horrific stuff. It's not like I'm sitting there going, this is amazing. This is awesome. Look at this stuff. No, I mean, it's awful. But it was good. It was well done. It was informative. And that's the thing I like most about those Turning Points. They're really informative. Like things I didn't know. I didn't know that the whole Vietnam War started between the North and the South because they were supposed to vote for unification, and then the South just said, fuck it, we're not voting, we're going to lose. They just said, we're not going to do the vote. We're not going to do a unification vote. We're going to lose. I'm going to be out of power. And then the North just said, well, all right, fuck you. You don't want to do unification. You don't want to vote, then fuck it. We'll just come down there and fucking kick your ass. And I guess that's kind of where that whole thing started. So supposed to do the vote, didn't do the vote. I guess I'd be a little upset too if I didn't do the vote. So, but no, it was good. Not easy to watch certain parts, kind of like the Cold War turning point too, and the other turning point was 9/11. That was the toughest one to watch. But I love all the historical stuff, all the history stuff, because I feel like I'm actually learning something while I'm watching it. So I just got done with that last night. Finished up Bosch Legacy. Finished that one, so I'm good to go with that one. And I'm not sure what to start right now. I'm not sure what's out there that I want to start. My family keeps trying to get me to watch White Lotus. I'm not sure. Although I'm a huge Walton Goggins fans. Goggins goggles? Come on. Who doesn't love Walton Goggins? I've told you, Justified Vice Principal, Righteous Gemstones. Absolutely. And so I don't know what I'm going to go watch, though. All right, a couple more comments, and we'll get out of here. And we'll send you guys off on your merry way. Hope you have a good Saturday. Why am I getting these notifications? I don't know what's going on with these notifications. And so, all right, good to go. Is TJD starting on Monday? Yeah, probably. I would think so. I don't know why he wouldn't. He was fine. He's not going to play a lot. Play like 5-6 minutes. Looney play 5 minutes, 6 minutes a half, and maybe would they play together? Maybe 25 minutes, just piece together 25 minutes between them, and you're good to go. Let's see. Trace Jackson Davis put 11, and Looney played 18, so you get 29 minutes between them. Yeah, that sounds about right. What was the last comment? I didn't get a chance to see it. Looney should have sent Edwards the floor on that dunk. Look, guys don't do that anymore. Guy, you don't just put guys on the ground anymore. It's just not the way the NBA is played. Those type of hard fouls. And look, you could do that back in the day, and it's 2 free throws. You do it now, you get a flagrant foul. They get 2 free throws anyway. They get the ball back. So that was a monster dunk, though. That thing was filthy. Like, even from where I'm sitting, like if you're sitting like low or you're watching on TV, it probably looked even better. But I'm up, and I saw him come down the middle and sideways and cock it back. Whew. I was like, get out the way. That dude's coming for blood. And he got it because he can get up. He can get up and he can get down. Timmy Hardaway used to say that about players who could jump but couldn't play. He can get up, but he can't get down. Always enjoyed that. Always enjoyed that saying. All right, what do we got? How bad is Curry's hamstring? I don't know. Don't know. From the people I've talked to, yeah, I mean, they've told you what they know, and I don't think it's any worse, any better. I think the hope is Game 6, if it gets that far, but it's a hamstring. Yeah, he could go out there the first time he practices and pops it. That's what everybody's told me who's had hamstring issues. It's just they're tricky. It's tricky to know when it's 100%. Have I ever interacted with Scott Foster? Yes, I have. He's fine. I don't mind Scott Foster. I know a lot of people can't stand Scott, but people get too wrapped up in the officials. Like, I'm wondering if when I was playing, fans knew the officials as well as they do now. Feels like fans know way too many officials now. You shouldn't know that many. You shouldn't be that consumed with the officials. You should be more consumed with your team, not the officials, not the official rotation. Like, you guys probably know more officials than I do. Zach Zarba's the best, I think. I think Scott Foster is really good. Trying to think who else I don't know. Walker is okay. Scott Walker, I think his name is, but I don't know. Like, I used to know all the officials when I was playing. Earl Strom was my favorite. Loved Earl Strom. Mike Mathis. And Dick Bavetta was back there. Jake O'Donnell, didn't love him. Daryl Garrettson. Ronnie Nunn. Bruce Alexander. Like, we had some good officials back then because they had a feel for the game. I don't think these guys have the feel for the game, the guys back in the day had, but that's the way the league wants it. They don't want them to be. They don't want them to have any personality. No judgment calls, even though they're making a lot of judgment calls. So I don't know. It is what it is. I couldn't play center for a kindergarten team for 5 minutes right now. I wouldn't. I couldn't. And unless you had defibrillators ready, I wouldn't even try. There's no way I could run. I could run up and down in a real basketball game. Forget NBA basketball game. A real basketball game for 5 minutes. Not a chance. Not a chance. John said he only knows the ones that got busted, or the ones that got busted for submitting false claims. What they would do, a lot of the officials, they'd get first class travel, and be fly in first class. So what they do is they trade their tickets in for coach, and then pocket the money. Sounded good till you got caught. Oops. Thank you, Wes. Appreciate it. How can I not be consumed with Tony Brothers eyebrows? Because I'm not consumed with Tony Brothers eyebrows. They're magnificent, by the way. If anybody's wondering, Tony Brothers has some incredible eyebrows. It's like he Sharpied those things on there. Those things are thick. Those are, yeah. Got to give it to Tony Brothers. You got some pretty nice eyebrows. Although nobody had the God, what was his name? Joe Mauer. Not Joe Mauer, Kenny Mauer. Joe Mauer. Joe Mauer is a catcher for the Twins. Kenny Mauer had the gelmet. Those of you that remember Kenny Mauer, they had the gelmet, like the Pat Riley gelmet. It was so sweet. Oh, and I was kind of bummed tonight too. Does Kerr grind? Ed, Steve, and the coaches get cut-ups. So they watch the game and they watch it play-by-play, but it's not a game film. It's just play-by-play. So they'll watch a game in like 45 minutes. And then they go through and look at every play, mark it. We did this good. We did this bad. Let's look at that. Let's concentrate on this tomorrow in practice. Let's talk about this at shoot around, stuff like that. So yeah, they all get a little device hooked to their computer and they're called cut-ups. So they get a chance to watch. But I was bummed today because we didn't have a chance to do it. But the Timberwolves were playing. David Guthrie was one of the officials. And Ed Malloy was in the replay booth. He was in Secaucus. I was like, oh, we got Malloy and we got Guthrie doing a Wolves game. We couldn't fit it in there, though. Although I did get one this year. I did get one where Guthrie did make a call, and I said Guthrie had the guts to call it, because if you remember, that's Alan Horton, the play-by-play radio guy for the T-Wolves, when Sean Marion fouled Kevin Love, and he's watching it on replay, and right in front of Guthrie, right in front of him, Marion just rakes Kevin Love right across the forearm, and they call nothing. And Alan Horton's watching this, like, it's not live, but he's watching it for the first time as he's doing post-game. And he's like, and Marion, oh, David Guthrie didn't have the guts to call it. And then he loses his shit when he sees Ed Malloy just standing there doing nothing. Oh, Ed Malloy! Game's over. Wolves lose. Brutal. It's one of the greatest calls ever. I will never not laugh watching that. It's just so every time I see Guthrie, I think of that. Every time I think of Malloy, I think of that. And then the fact they were doing the same game tonight, although Malloy wasn't there, he was in Secaucus doing the replay. I was like, oh, Malloy and Guthrie are doing a Wolves game. It's beautiful. It's just beautiful. And so anyway, if I watch Shooting Guards on Netflix, no, I'm going to. That was the Gilbert Arenas and Javaris Crittenton, I believe, when they were playing for the Wizards. And card game on a plane went wrong, and they got all, I don't know, somebody owed somebody money, and somebody wasn't going to pay. And then they were each talking about shooting one another, because, that's what teammates do. You know, if you care for one another, you talk about shooting one another. And I think it was, I don't know what it was. I got to watch it though. Anyway, ends up, you know, Gilbert brings 2 guns to the locker room, sets them on the because I think Jabbar said, "I'll shoot you." So Gilbert brings 2 guns, sets them in the locker room, and goes, "You pick one. Pick one." I mean, yeah, bear down. He's a bear downer. He's a little different than most bear downers. He's he was kind of the black sheep of the bear downers. He was just a little different than most guys that went to Arizona. Not a bad guy. I think Gilbert's a really good guy. He's wild. Gilbert's wild, man. And then, you know, I love watching him play. And again, good dude. Just didn't always use the best judgment. And then, if you remember correctly, David Stern, not happy. I'm sure brought him into New York, talked to him like, look, we can't be doing this. He was bringing guns to the locker room, which I'd seen before. I'd seen a number of times, players bringing guns to the locker room. I'm just like, just fucking get away from me, okay? I don't need guns. And then remember, that's when Gilbert came out. I think it was the next game, and they introduced him, starting lineup, Gilbert Arenas. And he came out, and he's like doing this, like he's shooting his teammates. Like, what are you fucking doing? Like, grow up. You think Stern's gonna put up with that? He didn't. I was thinking about David Stern. David Stern is not Adam Silver. Adam Silver can go light on the players and the players' friends, and you know, and the David Stern was like, David Stern didn't take any shit from the players at all, and so, oh, yeah, that's right. I think you're right on this. I think Crittenden was in jail. I'm gonna watch this special though. I know Gilbert's doing okay. He's got his podcast and everything. Glad his son's doing okay. His son got an accident, like a Cybertruck. Something happened to it, and yeah, they put him in a coma, but apparently he's out and walking now. He's going to USC, top high school basketball player. So I was happy to see that. That was brutal to see that he got in that type of accident, and man, that's rough. So let's see. Yeah, thank you. All right, we're gonna get on out of here. This always, I swear, I always sit down here and I go, "What do I got today?" We got about a half an hour. We get going, and then all of a sudden we just do it, and it's like closer to an hour than I ever think it's gonna be. So we will be back Monday, I think. We may be back Monday, and my father-in-law's head may be right behind me trying to sleep because I'm in the guest room right now. So we may move this thing. I'm gonna move it around and do a show on Monday, and then possibly Wednesday before the game, if I can figure that out. I got to figure out the timing of it because we're there and we're gone. We're there. We fly Tuesday, game Wednesday, fly Wednesday night, and then back Thursday. So I'm not going to be in Minnesota, but for barely not even 48 hours, like 36 hours. So we'll figure out when we're going to do the show. We told you Friday, Marcus. So we got that on the books. And if we don't do anything Wednesday, we'll do it Thursday. After the game, but for sure we'll do no post game. I'll do like a little video from the Target Center, ship that off. But yeah, there's no way I'm going to be able to do a show. I don't think I can pull off doing a show on the plane with the team there and the coaches there. I'll just have everybody come join me. That's not going to happen. And so, all right, everybody have a great Saturday night. Thanks for hanging out with me for a little bit. And we'll figure out the schedule as we go. I said once we get past the basketball season, we'll have a more set schedule and stuff like that. Get into some football, get into some baseball, all those kind of things, and some funny stuff too. I want to do some goofy stuff on Fridays like I used to do on the radio. Bring back Fridays Mean Danger. We'll do some goofy stuff on Friday that just maybe toes the line of decency. just a little bit. But hey, what's YouTube for if not for lack of decency? All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Saturday night. See you.